Good morning, colleagues. Today it is a thrill to introduce my pastor today. If you know me, and some of you do, you know that I come from an extremely large Catholic family. Then I married into a larger Catholic family, and before I left Louisiana, I thought it was a requirement to be Catholic. I didn't know until Georgia that it wasn't. So I've been in Georgia since 1993, and I have belonged to 3 churches since then. And I loved all 3. I just felt like something was missing, and I have a colleague, a mentor. She was my graduate advisor at UGA. Her name is Geraldine Jackson White. She's probably watching, so this is a shout out to her. She kept telling me, you've got to come to my church, you've got to come to my church, Our Lady of Lourdes downtown. I live in Snellville, so I was like, it's a long drive, it's a Sunday morning. But one day I went with my family, and when I got there, it was Beignet Sunday. And I said, I hear you, Lord. I'm home. So we had the best, and there are 2 things I do not eat outside of Louisiana, gumbo and beignets. But Our Lady of Lourdes, if you catch them on Beignet Sunday, count your lucky stars. So let me tell you about Our Lady of Lourdes. Our Lady of Lourdes is the oldest African-American Catholic church in Atlanta. And in 2003, they erected the historical marker honoring them for that. Reverend Jeffrey Ott, who, by the way, went to the high school that's walking distance from my high school in New Orleans. He is a friar of the Order of Preachers known as Dominicans, serving as the pastor of Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church in Atlanta. Father Ott also serves as board chair of Interfaith Community Initiatives Incorporated, a nonprofit which unites people to create lasting and transformative bonds to build a more humane and equitable society. Father Jeffrey has served on the Leadership Council for the Southern Dominican Province. Father Ott received the Masters of Arts in Theology and Masters of Divinity from Aquinas Institute of Theology in St. Louis, Missouri. He is that great. He deserves that welcome. He received the Masters of Arts in Theology and Masters of Divinity from Aquinas Institute of Theology in St. Louis, Missouri, before becoming pastor of Lourdes. Father Ott served his alma mater, Xavier University in Louisiana, as university chaplain. Over the years, he has developed a deep interest in the spirituality of recovery and persons in recovery. He enjoys travel, singing, and communing with family and friends. Colleagues, I introduce to you Father Jeffrey Ott.
Good morning. Psalm 147, verse 12 says, "Glorify the Lord, O Jerusalem. Praise your God, O Zion. For he has strengthened the bars of your gates. He has blessed your children within you." And I like to begin my engagement with you this morning with just a little few bars of an old song that I'm sure a lot of you know, so you're welcome to join in. Just a closer walk with thee. Granted, Jesus is my plea. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. I am weak, but thou art strong. Jesus, keep me from all harm. I'll be satisfied as long As I walk, let me walk close to thee. As Shelly said in her fine intro, I am the pastor of the first African American Catholic Church here in Atlanta, founded in 1912. And so we are celebrating 100 and whatever, do the math, 10, 11 years. Math is not my forte. And I bring you greetings from our church community, which includes many fine folk like Representative Hutchinson from throughout the Atlanta area and other parts of the state and country, since we have been celebrating our Sunday Mass live streamed to everyone. And we are a growing church. We are about to embark on a $10 million capital campaign to build a new church. And so I bring you greetings from the hallowed grounds of our church campus, where the neighborhood children used to play, which included the illustrious Georgia Dennison, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we're also proud to note in this Women's History Month that our foundress, St. Catherine Drexel, not only blessed us with her patronage, but also with her holiness. As we continue celebrating Women's History Month, I chose that song, Just a Closer Walk with Thee, because it was my grandmother's favorite song, and I wanted to honor her, the woman who helped me to grow into my faith. And many was the day that I heard her singing as she went about her chores and cooking. She didn't fail to let me know every time we heard it in church, that's my favorite song. And so it conjures fond and loving memories for me. And another reason I like that song is because it reminds me and all of us that our relationship with Jesus, indeed our spiritual lives, is a day-to-day reality. And that's true for all of us. Sometimes it's a moment-to-moment reality, especially for those of us who are unemployed or working in the gig economy, maybe our constituents, our parishioners, our staff, people that we know, people that we don't know, and those who face the shadows of death with the coronavirus, along with all of the healthcare workers on the front lines. And all of those people know the day-to-day, the moment-to-moment reality of life. Now, if you're anything like me, you want the quick fix. Thank God for Amazon. The magic pill. The reality of our spiritual lives, though, is that they don't work that way. We don't get to take a pill and have all of our problems melt away. In fact, in infinite wisdom, the creator of the universe, the divine intelligence, somebody say divine intelligence, the one who loves us into being, that mandates that we have a daily walk, that Jesus teaches us that in the Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. My grandmother taught me that, and she taught me that to be successful spiritually means to surrender to the reality of our humanity, that we each live lives dependent upon one another, that none of us is independent from the other, that we are interconnected, and that's what our relationship with Jesus is all about. We humans take steps literally and figuratively, trusting in the divine presence and trusting in one another. You know all about that, though, as representatives. You know all about the importance of those relationships. And our prayer for you, I know certainly all of us at Lourdes pray for Representative Hutchinson and all of you. I commit us to praying for you. Our prayer for you is that you understand more and more each day in your daily walk that we are here to do good for one another, those that we know and especially those that we don't know. The Jesus I serve, the one who calls us into being, the one who gives us life, who saves us, was the one who taught us that we ought to do right by our fellow human, and that we ought to lift up the good of everybody. And we ought to do that because we have been lifted up, because we have been given the opportunity to live and breathe and walk this day. And so it's my prayer that you will walk in that way and walk in that spirit in all that you say and in all that you do, especially for your constituents and the good people of this state. Please join me in a closing prayer. Gracious Creator, we thank you for the gift of this day, and we ask that you give us a willing spirit to cooperate with your plan for us and for the good of all the people of the state of Georgia. And we humbly ask these and all other blessings in the spirit of unity and peace. And let the people say amen.